This is the all-new Shelby Super Snake, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about it. In all of my years, I've never seen a car with a cult following just like this one. It's insane. And I do want to take a quick second to say thank you to my friends at Fox Factory for letting me have this vehicle for the week. It's been absolutely incredible, and I'm so excited to share with you some insider information that you might not find anywhere else online about this new Shelby Super Snake. First up, what have we got here? This vehicle started out life as a Mustang GT. That is exactly right, a 401A Equipment Group Mustang GT. Now, this is very different than what you'll find with the Mustang GTD, which I'm gonna do some comparisons and contrasts here in just a second so you can kind of see, because at the end of the day, this is the closest vehicle to that Mustang GTD is the new Super Snake. So what have we got going on? We've already discussed a 401A Equipment Group is how this thing is equipped. And you can get the vehicle in an automatic or manual transmission. And that's a beautiful thing because not everybody likes the manual transmission. Even though I love it myself, this one happens to be an automatic transmission. And there's going to be even more mechanical differences outside of that. But what do we have as a vehicle itself? You're going to notice the entire front end of the vehicle is completely different. Everything from the custom aluminum hood that is designed and specifically for the Shelby Super Snake, all the way to the carbon bits all over the vehicle. But what I like about this hood is it's got functional heat extractors that I can physically feel the heat coming out of them as it's sitting here completely turned off because I just got through driving it. In addition, you've got some side vents over here. But one of the things you have to realize when you're trying to take a look underneath the hood of the new Mustang Super Snake is how to pop the hood. You'll notice you have these retainer clips here. The best practice that I would argue is make sure you press this button, and then go pop your hood. The reason they have that there is so that way in case something happens, well, number one, it just looks cool, but number two, if you happen to be driving down the road and the hood latch is pulled, or let's say the hood latch gets ripped from it, you have two extra measures of safety with these two extra points. And if you don't press those points, you can't actually open up the hood. And speaking of opening up the hood, let's take a look inside. Because this vehicle is based on a 401A Equipment Group, you have the 5.0 V8 that's been supercharged by Shelby Performance. The cool part about this, you're getting 830 horsepower out of this engine, actually over 830 horsepower, but keep in mind that is rated at 93 pump gas, and there's 91 minimum recommended. So thankfully the people that don't have access to 93 across the country, you can still drive this vehicle. But speaking of still driving this vehicle, the supercharger here is actually supposed to be done post-title because of some stupid states have some very stupid emissions that keep superchargers from being in their state itself. Emissions testing is not my friend. Now, I'm all for being green and everything, but I'm more for high horsepower. Now let's take a look at some other cool things on the front end of this car. Everything has been reworked. Everything from the grille with the high flow. You've got these side pockets designed for more airflow. Why is that? Because the entire car has got its own Shelby cooling system with heat exchangers and everything that need more air in the front end. And you also have these splitter rods, which are actually designed to uphold the front end of that lower front splitter. So maybe if you're hitting a little extra high downforce, or if you just pop a curb, hopefully you don't, that'd be a bad day for you. But I love the fact that they are infusing the right amounts of carbon fiber all throughout the front end of this vehicle. Now, speaking of carbon fiber, let's take a look at this. Not only is this bumper just a cool upgraded bumper, it's actually a wide body kit bumper. How I can prove that to you, you've got the headlights right here, but notice that it actually kicks out a little bit wider located right here. Why is that? Because the entire front fender has been replaced by Shelby American with this carbon fiber front fender. It is a wide body front fender, and because it is a wide body, you actually have this really cool design in the front fender. Now, unfortunately, it's not an actual functional heat extractor, but it looks amazing nonetheless, and it allows you to get the Shelby Super Snake logo right here in that front fender. I will say that I've never broken so many necks driving this car, with one exception, our 2021 Ford GT Carbon Series, the Batmobile, if you want to call it that. This is the second closest vehicle that we've ever had to that car. Let's talk about wheels and tires for a quick second, because that's another part that really makes this car shine. These are forged magnesium wheels. Now, you can argue whether or not you like the color. I actually think it matches all the way through and through. I would have never selected it right off the bat, but I'm actually seeing the end product and it's pretty dadgum cool. But the idea behind the forged magnesium is extra strength and extra light. And so I think that's very, very cool. You also have Shelby stamped into the wheel itself, and it's the attention to detail coming down to the hardened wheel studs located right here. The whole setup looks absolutely amazing. Now, but because this vehicle starts out life as a 401A Mustang GT with the GT Performance Pack, you get automatically the Brembo front brakes. That's kind of nice. Shelby doesn't mess with that. But what they do, I just said do, is they actually give you a set of Willwood rotors that are located up front. So it's a Shelby rotor, but it's actually made by Willwood. So it's actually kind of neat because you have a Brembo caliper and a Willwood rotor, and that rotor is slotted as well. It's going to help with heat dissipation a little bit. Another cool thing about these wheels and tires is actually a benefit of the wide body kit. Because the wide body kit exists, you actually have 305 wide tires all the way around. No need for staggered fitment in this particular setup. So you can rotate the tires if you wanted to, something we won't be able to do on our upcoming Mustang GTD. So I'd argue this might be a much better daily driver compared to that Mustang GTD. Now, I'm gonna be covering exactly why I think this is a competitor to the Mustang GTD in just a second, especially because of the price point. But I think it is really neat to see that you've got matching tires and wheels all the way around. But how do you get this perfect stance that you're looking at? That is because Shelby has their own proprietary suspension system that is actually one of the biggest surprises on this car for me personally. Usually when you go to an aggressive suspension system, something that can handle really, really well, you're in really, really low, you're gonna deal with issues of where the thing just rides really, really harsh. I've had a chance to drive a lot of Mustangs, and this thing actually drives really well. You could very easily daily drive this thing if that's something that you want to do. But the other thing you can actually do is take this thing at some really high speeds around corners. But yeah, let's keep moving and show you the rest of the car. Out back, there's a few things we need to talk about as well. For instance, you'll notice there's a dual caliper setup. The reason for that is because the Mustang GT with the GT Performance Pack gets an automatic drift brake built into it. That's why you have the calipers in the rear. You can actually drift this car if you're that bold, doing this in a $170,000 MSRP car right out of the box. But either way, it's there if you want it. In addition to that, you also happen to have half shafts are upgraded. Because of all that extra horsepower, 830 plus, you need to make sure the half shafts in the rear can actually maintain that power without twisting and braking on you. So these half shafts are actually rated to up to 1,500 horsepower. Yet another reason they also went with the hardened studs in the back as well. On the back of the Shelby Super Snake, you can see even more carbon fiber used throughout this vehicle, which justifies a good bit of the MSRP of this vehicle that I just leaked to you a second ago. But what we're looking at is a Carroll Shelby wing that it comes on every single one of these Shelby Super Snakes, with one exception. You can get this car in a convertible. And if you get the convertible, you actually don't get the wing, you actually get a light bar in the back instead. Now, you'll also notice you have this duckbill spoiler coming up, which really does reminisce of the old Shelby Mustangs. Now, take a look at here. You have the Shelby badge back here, and even more carbon fiber with the diffuser down in the back side of the vehicle. And you've got one of my favorite things, the Shelby exhaust, which was co-engineered with Borla exhaust. And the beautiful thing about it, it retains completely the entire active exhaust system, so you can change the exhaust. Whether you like your neighbors or hate your neighbors, you can take care of business. But going back to the carbon fiber for one more second, the extensive use of this carbon fiber actually helps to save weight, and I can prove that. This is the only video I've been able to find online that actually went and weighed the new Super Snake. Now, Shelby may not want me to talk about this, but we're gonna do it anyways. So please don't be mad at me, guys. Thank you again for letting me borrow the car. But this booger weighed 4,340 pounds with a full tank of gas and all of the fluids in it. Now, based on what I can find online, the Mustang GTD has the exact same weight as this car, even though the GTD has a significant more amount of carbon fiber throughout. I mean, it's got a carbon fiber deck lid, rear quarter panels, the roof panels, a whole lot of more of that car is actually carbon fiber. So it's kind of crazy to see that these things weigh nearly the exact same amount. But if that wasn't enough, this Mustang actually weighs the same amount as a base model F-150. As far as colors are concerned, there's quite a few choices to make, but you also notice that you have a silver tape stripe on the middle of this car, and you heard that right. Unfortunately, this is not a painted stripe, it is a tape stripe. I think that Shelby missed out on an opportunity with this, because as a $170,000 car, I would like to see that painted instead of a vinyl decal that you might have to replace after 10 or 15 years if it spends a whole lot of time out in the sun. On the inside of the Super Snake, at first glance, it looks like a normal Mustang GT because it was based on that, until you start looking at all the attention to detail that Shelby adds to it. So the first thing you'll notice, you've got a set of floor mats that have got the Shelby name on it. In addition to that, you also have the door sill plates which illuminate and say Super Snake on it, and looks fantastic. Not only that, you also have these amazing leather covered seats. Now this is the Alcantara and leather combination, and it's got the Shelby in the back, and to round off the inside, you even have a Super Snake badge where it's actually serialized as this is number 67 out of only 250 built worldwide for the Super Snake. As I mentioned to you earlier, this is the automatic transmission, the 10-speed. It's nice that they give you the option to order it in either way. And speaking of ordering the Shelby Super Snake, did you know that Town & Country Ford, our sister company, is an authorized Shelby dealer, and we can actually place an order for you on one of these cars. Now, you don't see these things on dealer lots all that often, but the good news is we've got allocations and can get you one of these cars. Give us a call if you're interested in it. And the beautiful thing is there's no ADM, no dealer markups with this car. The MSRP is what you paid, even though there's only 250 of them nationwide. Give us a call if you want to actually place an order for one. But the 10-speed transmission is an option, as well as the manual transmission. If you go with the manual transmission, not only do you get a shifter ball that's dedicated to Shelby, it's also a short throw shifter. In addition to that, you also happen to have a lightweight one-piece drive shaft that goes out to the rear end before you get into those upgraded half shafts. And with that said, ooh, I'm feeling 40. With that said, that is our review of the Shelby Super Snake. Let us know if you have any questions down in the comments below, and we'll do our best to answer those. Or if you want to, just give us a call. The phone number is right there on the screen. Thanks so much for watching this video. Have a great day. Peace. Yes, can I get a venti pink drink?
Thank you so much.